new studies have shown too that like women in general get a lot more stressed out when a home is cluttered or dirty than like the guy will, which makes a lot of sense. It adds up. But
A
now there's like
million percent.
scientific evidence.
Yeah. What I've read most recently is that 92% of people
hmm
work better in an organized space. There's that 8% that can work through chaos and that can completely ignore the piles, but it's rare. And even those, the reality is, if the space is organized and set up for them, they're going to feel more prepared and ready for their day.
Hey, Mama. Welcome to the Working Moms Playbook, the go-to podcast for moms balancing careers and babies. I'm your host, Antonia DePace, former editor, current marketing maven, and mom of one. Each week, we're breaking down the systems, mindsets, and support every working mom needs to thrive, whether it be at work, at home, or everywhere in between. So let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to the Working Moms Playbook. I am your host, Antonia DePace. Today's episode is going to hit close to home. It is something that we all struggle with as moms in general and working moms at best. It is keeping your home clean and organized and functioning while you are juggling having a kid and also having a career. So today's episode expert or guest, we are welcoming Tink Fisher, who is the face behind Clean House Professional Organizers. Her company is the go-to for the mainline Philadelphia, New Jersey, and beyond when it comes to moving management, decluttering, expert closet installation. Basically, she is like a fairy godmother of a clean and organized home. Welcome, Tink. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. And you could be a commercial for me. I mean, that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, this is like a topic that we all struggle with. I think it is just so hard and overwhelming to come up with a daily schedule or quick ways that will help your overarching like workload of keeping a home clean. And actually like bringing those pieces to fruition and to reality. Right now, my house is like middle ground, I'd say. The last week it was really clean. This week it's middle ground. But we all go through these ebbs and flows. And it's
Totally.
like really hard, especially when you're dealing with a screaming toddler or, you know, picking your kids up off the school bus or whatever it might be. So
We've all
you're
been there.
yeah, we've all been there. But let's start out with having you introduce yourself a little bit and talk more about how Clean House Professional Organizers kind of like came to be.
Sure. The name comes from like, it's time to clean house. Get rid of the things that don't support you, and your home should support you. Um, and the business really started a very strange way. My wife said to me a few years ago, she said, "You should really do something you love." And at the time, I was a teacher. And I said, "I love what I do." And she said, "All you do is complain." I said, "That's not true." And then I said, listen to myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't love what I do. I said, what am I supposed to do? Clean and organize? Like, no one's going to pay me for that. Well, it turned out it is much needed. And
Yep.
it's the best decision I ever made professionally. The best, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, like, you might need to come over to my house, honestly.
Listen, I'm there. I am there. We, as women, put so much pressure on ourselves to have a full time job, to give ourselves time, to keep our kids alive, to make the doctor's appointments. And then by the time it's all over, it's like our house suffers. So
Yeah.
that's why I have a job. But there are tips and tricks that I can certainly give that can help everyone get through this really heavy but wonderful time.
Ooh, yeah. Like, let's just dive into those right away
Yeah.
because I need those tips.
So the first thing is acknowledging that your home needs to support you in your life now. Many of us have these ideas of like, I want my house to be ready for hosting, but like you have two toddlers running around, and the reality is you're not hosting much right now. And the prime real estate of your home should be dedicated to the things that you need most. So if most things you need right now are diapers and, baby bottles, they need to take up the prime real estate in your home. And the goal really to live an organized life shouldn't be that everything's perfect, that everything looks like a Pinterest magazine. It should be that it supports you now and that you can easily tidy when you want to. It doesn't have to be perfect, just when you want it to be tidy, it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many of us think that we can't keep up and we have to keep cleaning, but the reality is it's not the cleaning that's the issue, it's the system. So you need to implement simple systems that you need for your family. So, for instance, Antonia, how old is your daughter, son? Tell me more.
He's over 1.5.
He has a lot of
Yeah.
toys. He's still in diapers, right?
He is still in diapers. We're on our way out, but he's still currently in
It's a
diapers.
process for sure.
Yeah.
So, if you look at the areas in your home that stress you out the most when it
Hmm.
comes to your son's items, what are they? I know that I'm
Oh,
not supposed to be interviewing you today, but it helps. So everyone can relate.
for me, I'm definitely one of those that's like, I like to have a place. And we just finished construction on the house. And while I have a
Congrats.
home for like most of the adult items, right now I don't necessarily have a home for the baby items or, toddler items. I have where they are going to have a home, but there's no shelving, there's no none of that just yet. So right now, my biggest like problem area would be the family room with like all of his toys. And like they're just everywhere. Like some
They
of them are
take over
too big. Yeah, they
completely.
take over completely.
And the
Yep.
majority of them are ugly. They're brightly colored and they don't match your decor. And you're like, I know I need to get to them, but I just don't know where to start. Right.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
probably walk by them every day. And every day, those things are building residual stress in your body because you're like, as a mom, I should be able to get to that. And why haven't I gotten to that yet? Few things. One, give yourself grace. Your job right now is to keep your kids alive. That's it. Everything else is
Yeah.
it's icing on the cake, really. But you have to think about the toys that he uses most right now and figure out a system that works for you. Many people want to have color coordinated bins and have them all labeled. And while that's beautiful and it's wonderful, it's unrealistic to think that you can do that by yourself if you have a full time job. It's not the reality. But you can have a bin that matches your family decor in that living room, or a few of them that has a lid, maybe a basket that everything just gets thrown into when family comes over or when you're entertaining. But his toys are going to take up space now, and they
Yeah.
should, right?
Yep. Yep.
And the other thing to keep in mind is many times we have way too many toys for the child and too many toys for the family. It doesn't mean that you need to get rid of them. But what I always suggest is doing a toy swap out. So take 50% of them and put them in a bin and put them in your basement, your garage, your attic, out of the way. And then in a month or so, swap out the toys that you're using for new toys.
Okay.
It's going to, one, engage your child again, two, clear most of the space that's stressing you out, and three, it gives you something to refresh, right? Because
Yep.
kids get bored just like we do, and you're not getting rid of them. You're just swapping them out to save some more space for you and your family. So that's
Yeah.
one
It makes so
suggestion.
much sense. Yeah.
Some more ideas for you. I have lots.
I love him. I keep them coming. Honestly,
If
I'm still
you,
stuck on
yeah,
the idea about the basket that I can quickly throw toys into when family comes over. And I'm like, it's like the last thing on my mind and I don't want to fully clean them up. Like, I'm still
yeah.
stuck on that. But
It
continue to
doesn't
the
have to
third
be
one.
pretty. Like, just throw them in the
Yeah.
basket. Same for like shoes. When a lot of people say that like their entryway is stressful, and
Hmm.
most people take off their shoes when they come in their home, and they want it to be really pretty and have a shoe rack. Well, guess what? Kids are not putting their shoes away on the shoe rack. You want them to, but the reality is they're not going to do it. If you have a box or a basket where everyone just throws their shoes in when they get there, it looks pretty. It's not pretty inside, but no one's coming to check the inside of your basket. You just have
Right.
to think what's
Exactly.
going to work for you and your family right now.
Yep.
And if you have older kids, yes, I always say keep them involved. If they have ownership of the space, they're going to be more likely to help clean up. But also, coming from a teacher who taught for 15 years and a mom of three, ranging from ages 23 and 10, like I get it. It's super hard what you can do to keep them involved. Although some people might roll their eyes, bribery is a real thing. It works and it doesn't have to be big.
Yep.
You know how you always put things on the stairs to go up and your kids are supposed to take them, or your husband or your spouse,
Yeah.
and they stay there for
Yeah.
days and no one sees
I
them?
think there's stuff right now in my
Uh-huh.
step for that exact purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Try this. I have a couple things. One is to put a dollar bill or a piece of candy underneath the piles. Now, this doesn't work for young kids. I mean, for like
Right.
2-year-olds, right? But for your
Yeah.
husband or something that would intrigue them, right? I have teenagers. If I put a Roblox gift card under one of those piles for $5, it's not much.
Yeah.
And they randomly pick it up and they're going to be like, what's this for? And I'm like, you finally did what I wanted you to do. When you do the things that are asked, good things happen to you. And it doesn't mean every time you take a pile up, there's going to be a gift, but you never know. You never know what's going to be under there. And if you can help mom out a little bit, I can help you out too.
It's a reward. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
Maybe you
it's
can put a
fun.
case of beer underneath one for your I don't know what's going to be the bribery, but think of what will interest them. And keep in mind that even though you want to live an organized life, not everyone in the family is going to be on board with that.
Yeah.
So to them, it may feel like a nuisance. It may feel like one more thing that they have to do. So the goal is to keep them on board without stressing them out.
Yeah.
Bribing
And I
them,
think like new studies have shown too that like women in general get a lot more stressed out when a home is cluttered or dirty than like the guy will, which makes a lot of sense. It adds up. But now there's like
million percent.
scientific evidence.
Yes. I think that what I've read most recently is that 92% of people work better in an organized space. There's that 8% that can work through chaos and that can completely ignore the piles, but it's rare. And even those, the reality is, if the space is organized and set up for them, they're going to feel more prepared and ready for their day.
Yeah, it makes
So,
sense. I'm one
systems
of those
are the
people.
issue, not
Okay.
the cleaning, not the organizing. The reality is the systems. So, if we're thinking about toddlers, they need certain things in certain rooms. Set those up. Have an area for each room with the essentials that your kids need.
Okay.
So, if it's diapers and it's binkies and it's chew toys, I don't know, are they even called chew toys for babies, not dogs? You know what I mean?
The teethers, the teethers.
Yes, whatever it is, have an
Yeah.
area that is strictly for that,
Mhm.
that you know is not always going to be 100%, but when you want it to be, it can be concealed and covered up, you know?
Okay. Yep.
Um, and then also look at the areas that are stressing you out the most. 99% of the time, your issue is that you have too much crap. I have been in hundreds of homes, literally, and every single home that I have gone in, the reality is their stressors are because they have too much. You can't organize overconsumption.
Yeah. Yeah, you just posted about that the other
You,
day. I saw that.
well,
Maybe it was a
thank you
week
for checking
ago.
that out. Yes,
Of
I did.
course.
And you really can't. Like, we live
Yeah.
in a world where we think we buy something else that's going to make us feel better. That goes down to even organizational materials such as bins. If we buy bins, we're going to be organized. That's not going to work if you have too much stuff in your home. So your child's 1.5 now, right? The clothes
Yep.
that he's grown out of, what are you doing with?
Oh, well, I do have a system for that, but then, like, the system starts to, like, get a little overwhelming in the basement.
Huh?
But,
Reality, it happens.
yeah, the reality, but, once he starts to, like, grow out of clothes, I start to put them next to his dresser, which can start to become a clutter spot. However, at one point, they do go into a storage container or a plastic bag, whatever I really have on hand that's quick, gets labeled, goes down into the basement. I don't think about it again. But it can now that we've had this construction done, a lot of stuff did get moved to the basement. And now we're starting to like really grasp the idea that we are going to have to now go into go into the basement. And that is where like I don't know for us if it's necessarily overconsumption down there. We definitely have overconsumption elsewhere.
Hmm.
But, that's a place where I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be horrendous. Horrendous.
I mean, the basement is where things go to die if you don't
Yep.
have systems for them. And
Yep.
when you have young children, your systems constantly have to be revamped because it's needed. Like, sure, your son right now is in 18 months, but in a couple weeks, he's going to be in 24 months. And those 18 months clothes need a place to go, or they're just going to pile up on your dresser. It sounds like
Yep.
you already have a system, and that's what I would suggest. Have a bin in their closet that is for grown out of or grow into. Like sometimes you buy clothes and you think they're going to fit, but they're a little too big still. So if
Uh-huh.
you have two bins in the closet that's grown out of and grow into, there's an area that you can put both of those things.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be pretty, but it's a space where it's stored that makes sense.
Yeah, has
And
a
for
home.
moms, I say to have that too, not necessarily grow out of and grow into, but donate. And for instance, moms, like most moms, have different sizes that fit them at different times through the year, right? Our weight
Yes.
fluctuates, whether we're
Yep.
having babies or we're not, or whatever it may be. Women's weight fluctuates. So
Uh-huh.
having bins in your closet for things that you want to donate and things that no longer fit you is a great system just to eliminate the stress within your space. Because many times we put all of our energy into our family that by the time it comes to our spaces, we are just trying to stay alive and get through it, right? So little
Yes.
things like How many times do you go into your closet and you look at something and you say, I don't know if I'm going to wear that ever, but you keep it just in case,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Well, that
Mhm.
just in case is taking up prime real estate for something that you could wear that you love, right?
Mhm. Yeah. 100%.
That your closet should be like party with all of your best friends. Everything should make you feel your best. And if it doesn't, give it to someone who could use it. There are
Makes sense.
so many nonprofits that take donations of almost everything: old blankets, old clothes, toys, everything. There is no reason for you to guilt yourself into keeping something for the what if,
Yeah. Life is too
especially
short for
when
that, really.
life is too short. And the reality is,
Yeah.
you can go on Amazon or you can go on an online shop if you really need something, and it can be there in 2 days. So nothing needs to be saved for the what if. The things that I
Very
do say
true.
you should save are things that bring you joy, things that you use, things that you love. That's it. Everything else, give to someone who can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
For
We've gone over systems now that kind of dive into your expertise with decluttering and organizing, right? But what I think I come across a lot, and I feel like a lot of other moms are going to relate to this as well, is the fact that you have to have the time to then create those systems in a world where, the laundry isn't done or folded, the dishes aren't done, the countertops aren't wiped, the bed's not made, and it's like the system is that one quote unquote annoying item, right? That's nagging
Very
at us.
true.
We know it needs to
Hmm.
be done, but we don't necessarily have the time to do it. What is your suggestion or approach to take to that, especially when it comes to the fact that we almost place these unrealistic expectations on
Hmm.
ourselves about how clean our homes are supposed to be?
You work really hard for your money and what you do, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Many of us have a hard time spending money on something that's going to support us because we feel guilty for not putting it towards school or not putting it towards vacations or our children.
Yeah. Yep.
But there are so many people that can help you in areas that you need. For instance, my company. Hire us. We'll come help you. But any professional organizer, rates range anywhere from $75 to $300 an hour. You could have someone come in for 3 hours and revamp a space to create systems so that you can then maintain it. Because
Yeah.
usually the issue isn't the maintenance, it's starting the system. So, one, I
Yeah.
would say ask for support. If you can afford it, why not use that hard money to support you, right? It's not
Yeah.
going to break the bank, it's going to help you in the long run. But if you're one of those that says, I know I can do it, you absolutely can. You just have to know that it's going to take time. So take one area a week. My laundry, for instance, will stress you out, right? That laundry stresses
Yeah.
everyone out, typically
Oh, yeah.
everyone's nemesis. Think about the things that stress you the most. Is it because the kids are not putting the clothes in the hamper? Is it because once the clothes are folded, you don't know where to put them? There's lots of different things that stress different people out. And there's a
Yeah.
solution for all of those. If it's because the kids aren't putting the things away, do that bribery piece or do that excitement piece. Maybe you have young children that like basketball. Put a basketball net over their hamper, something to make
Yeah.
them
How
excited,
sweet.
you know? And when you think about, like, all right, I'm fine with doing the laundry, I'm fine with folding it, but the last thing I want to do is put it away. Have a hamper or a laundry bin for each family member. And then that goes in each child's room. If they
Okay.
are 8 years or older, there is no reason why they can't put their clothes away themselves.
Yeah.
One thing. If they're not, at least you get it out of the laundry room or out of the kitchen where you've done the folding. And you know it's one of the things that I'm going to have to do. But at least they're folded and they're in the location that they belong, right? So I would just say look at the systems and look at the areas that are stressing you out the most and say what would make it easier. Like, it sounds like it's very complicated and I don't know where to begin because we often get what I call organizational paralysis when we're in our own space. So, a few things. One, give yourself grace and know that everyone has the same challenge. Two, if you don't want to hire someone, ask a friend to come over, someone that you love and that you know has your best interest at heart, that's not going to judge you for your, Monica closet. We all know the Monica closet from Friends, right?
Yep.
And ask them, like, help me brainstorm ways that I can create a system. Instead of setting every Sunday for meal prep and cleaning the whole home, take a half an hour of that Sunday and create a system in one space that's stressing you out. You hit the nail on the head. The reality is You need the time and you need dedicated the time to live an organized life. So if you can do it yourself, you have to make the time. If you can't, give yourself grace and let yourself know, like, okay, it's okay to ask someone to come help me out. Easy.
Yeah. I think other part here too is it is so easy to let all of it creep up on you really quickly. We're so busy doing everything that one day the hamper is like halfway full and then we blink and it is like piling over and there's a whole waterfall that's spilling out onto the floor and it just like happens so suddenly. And I think for me, what's helped recently, and you can probably tune in on this and like transparently, I did ask ChatGPT to, to create this for me.
Great.
But I was like, create a deep cleaning prompt for me that's going to make it less overwhelming because I was finding myself cleaning on Saturdays and Sundays, wasting my whole time. And then I wasn't getting it all done. I wasn't spending quality time with my family or my son. And I wasn't getting anything done like for myself. So now I have a system. It reminds me on my phone. And like, it doesn't always get done. Like this week, it's been backed up, right? But in the morning, it's like I make my bed. I just wipe off the bathroom countertop upstairs, and then if I have time when I come downstairs, I unload the dishwasher, right? Just like something. And sometimes it's all three if I have all the time in the day or if I woke up early enough. And then like sometimes
And
like
you know that day is
today,
going to be good when all those things
yeah,
get checked off. You're like, I know I'm going to have a good day.
yeah, you're like, it's like an amazing feeling. And
Yes.
then there's like other days where one thing gets checked off or zero things get checked off. And then it's like each day there's one item that you're focusing on top of that. So like Mondays are the bathrooms. And then at night before I go to bed, it's like you put the toys away in the bins, you just give the kitchen a quick refresh, and you throw in one load of laundry. And like it sounds like a lot when you say it on the list, but when you think about the timing and how quick some of these tasks are, it has seriously helped. I think I've been doing it for 2 weeks and it has genuinely like I feel like I've gotten to enjoy my weekends. I feel like my home is not as much of a shit show.
Right. Right.
And it's just like implementing and sticking to a little system because then on Fridays I get to focus on an annoying item and it's helped me to create systems in other
That's great.
spots in the house. But
Yeah.
that's like important, I feel like, but it's also hard to figure out if you aren't starting from a clean slate, right? So for a lot of moms, we're not coming from a clean slate. We're coming from a place of clutter and
And life,
and
like real
overwhelmingness,
life.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, real life. So in those cases, let's just imagine, and I'm not putting this out into the universe right now because I really don't want this to happen, but let's just say my house is a total wreck and like dishes are piled and laundry's overflowing and, everything is everywhere. Like, I don't know where I'm going to start. What am I going to do? Like, what is that first place that you would recommend for me to start?
Say to remember that the word later is clutter's best friend. If you put something aside to do
Mm-hmm.
later, all it is doing is giving you extra work in the future. So if you do something, I have something called the home it rule. If it can be put away within 60 seconds, do it then. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to go where it belongs. So the first is to get yourself in the habit of trying to avoid setting it aside for later. First and foremost, try to avoid that. Second is to look at your areas where you keep most of your items, like your storage areas, for instance. You talked about having a basement, Antonia. Many people want to start in their kitchen or they want to start in their bedroom organizing, but then they start going through it and they realize I need somewhere else for this thing to go. What, like your
Right.
turkey baster, for instance. Like we only use our turkey things once a year, but a lot of people keep them in their kitchen that take up a lot of space. As you start to organize your area and you say, it doesn't make sense to keep it here, you need somewhere for it to go.
Right.
So
Right.
I say if you're super stressed out and you're like, where do I begin? Start in your storage area, get rid of items that no longer serve you, and create room to grow.
Okay.
Because the issue typically is that you have nowhere for it to go. So you're like, if it doesn't have a home, I'm just going to set it aside for later.
Right. And then it gets piled up.
Right. If everything has a home in your entire space and you practice the home it rule, it will always be put away. And you know what? Not everyone sees the benefits of wanting to live an
Oh.
organized life. And
Mhm.
many times your spouse feels like it's another thing you're nagging them about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can get them on board by like pulling at their heartstrings, like, listen, I know this isn't important to you, but it's really important to me. If you can just help me with this one space this weekend, it would mean the world to me. And they love you. They don't want you to be stressed out. They're going to want to help as long as you're approaching it with compassion as well and understanding that not everyone has the same outlook that you do. So remembering that later is the best friend of clutter. So if you can put things away as you're using them, that's wonderful. Having a home for everything. And another rule, the one in, one out rule. If you buy something new, it is going to take up space in your home. And if
Right.
you don't have room to grow, where is it going to go? If you're buying something new, something else goes.
Okay.
That has to be the rule in your home if you want to live an organized life. About all the times we buy things because we think we don't have what we need, but actually we do. We like
Yeah.
buy a duplicate of something because we can't find it and we're in a hurry.
Yep.
Again, if everything had a home and you knew where everything was, you wouldn't run into that problem. So
Yep.
the main goal needs to be setting time aside to make a home for everything. That's the hardest part. It really is. And knowing that if you're a working mom and you have young children, your home can't be perfect. Like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. You're doing a great job. You're working. You're keeping your kids alive. Not everything has to cause you stress and be like, "Ugh, it's another thing."
Right.
You fell in love with your home for a reason, right? Like, whether it's a condo, an apartment, your forever home, you moved into that for a specific reason, right? Like, how long have you been in your home, Antonia? You said you did some construction.
Yeah. Well, we moved in, I believe, 4 years ago. We're in real estate, so my husband does a lot of fix and flips, and we bought
Love
this
it.
home before we moved in. There was a whole renovation, and then we moved in, and then we just added an addition.
That's
So we're
amazing.
done. There's no more construction happening in this house. Like zero construction, at least on the inside, maybe on the
Right,
outside. But yeah, so I've been in the house for about 4 years and it's grown, which is kind of nice in
right.
terms of finding a home, but is also very overwhelming in terms of, for 2 months I had no kitchen or back room and everything was moved to the front of the house and had zero home. No home.
Ugh,
Everything was homeless within my house.
that's hard.
But
That's a
yeah.
hard time.
But yeah, everything's back
So,
though. We're all back.
when you first bought the home, do you remember that
Uh-huh.
feeling that you got when you walk in? Like, "Oh, this is great." Whether it's like it has potential or this is everything that I need. You know, that
Yeah.
feeling that your
Yep.
home's supposed to feel?
Yep.
Then it gets cluttered and you live in it and that feeling slowly dissipates, right? The good news is that feeling can come back and it should come back. Your home should be your oasis. It should be the antidote to your stress, not the cause of it. But so many of us don't give it time to create that space. And if you want something to support you, you have to support it,
Right.
right?
Makes
So
sense. Yeah.
it's time. It's giving it time. And if you don't have it, it's asking for help.
Yeah. So, everybody listening, it's time to focus on that annoying project, that clutter in the corner that you have now just accepted is like normal decoration. And whatever you've been procrastinating on, keeping for the just in case, doesn't have a home, like Tink is saying, it's time. Time
I
to
give you
get it out.
permission. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know what? There's so
So,
many nonprofits that you can go online
yeah.
and they'll pick up the things at your doorstep. Many people bring things to their car to donate and then they sit in the trunk for months. You can avoid
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Go to greendrop.com. I have no affiliation with them at all, but I use them often.
Yep.
They will come
Yeah.
to your house and they will pick everything up for you.
That's nice. I didn't
Solve,
know they would
solve,
come to your house, so that's a
yep,
good thing to know.
for free.
Yep. That's great. Social media has promoted a ton of cleaning products. Every single day there is something new, whether it be a steam cleaner, a new scrubber, whatever it is. And I've certainly fell victim to some of them. And some of them are great. Don't get me wrong. Some of them do like transform the way that you keep organized. And some of them are just total gimmicks. So in this world of overconsumption, there is also a place where you do require your host of tools to keep a clean and clutter-free home. What are the products and tools that you really swear by?
So, the first thing I will say is every home and every need is different. For me, I've realized that most of those gimmicky tools can all be replaced by one thing. For instance, if you think about in your kitchen, you can buy a apple peeler and you can buy a pineapple corer and you can buy, all these special things. But guess
Yep.
what? Does the same thing for all of them. So if you're not someone who uses pineapples every day, there's no reason why you need a special tool to work with it. Think about the items you're using and how they're going to benefit you the most. If
Okay.
If you need it, great. But if you don't, less is more, right? A broom will do the same thing as all of the other fancy things. What's going to save you time? So for me, I absolutely could not live without my handheld vacuum with all the attachments. Now, the one I use is the Dyson, but I will tell you, many people run into the same problem that the battery goes or that it runs out of steam or whatever it may be. But the Shark is really good as well. There's some knockoffs online, but a handheld portable vacuum that can be used
Okay.
in cabinets, it can be used in closets, on the floor, on the furniture, something with
You're
attachments.
talking about like
Yes.
the little thing, right?
Yep,
Okay.
with attachments. That's number one. Number two is the products that can be used in multi rooms. So I love working with organic products, right?
Yes.
I went through some health issues years ago, and one of the things I learned was the cleaner you are in your home, the cleaner you are in your body. So
Yes.
if you've ever heard of Thieves, it's a great cleaning product that can be literally used for windows, sinks, floors, toilets, every single thing you can think of. You don't need a product for every item in your home. You just need a product that can work for all of those items, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
So, trying to streamline what you use. And the other suggestion I would give is having those items in the rooms that you use them. Many people store all of their cleaning supplies in one area, but sometimes that area is like all the way in their basement and they want to clean their bathroom, but then they walk past, 4 different rooms to get to the basement and they start 4 different projects. And then the cleaning never gets done because, you see your mind is pulled in 1,000 different places. So if you have what you need in the areas you need them, you're much more likely to do them on a schedule
Yeah.
and it's going to support you and the space better.
Okay.
Um,
Makes
and
sense.
then the other thing I would say is you don't need a bin for everything, but you need bins. You need somewhere to store the items that are loose, which can be a plethora of things, right? You can have really pretty bins, you can have bins that you can see through, it doesn't matter. But a space in each area for those items that contains them. Like it's one thing to have a bin that looks good, that creates an organized space for something. But the reality is, you just need something to hold it. So you can even use a shoebox for your rags. You just need
Yeah.
something that contains the items you need.
Yep. Yep. I have a diaper box right now that's holding a bunch of rags.
See? There you go. I also
Yep.
really love using hampers for toys. So if you use
Okay.
a luxury hamper that's like a basket with a lid
Yeah.
from Container Store, for instance, which
Yeah.
if I can put any plug for any store, it's the Container Store without a doubt. They're so wonderful there. But they have these really beautiful baskets and beautiful hampers that can be repurposed as kids grow up too. Like you don't need to have the elephant toy box that doesn't match anything because it's kid friendly. Like you just need a large basket that holds all the items. And ottomans and tables that have storage in them are always clutch. Like if you can put things in something and hide it when you have kids, it is ideal.
Yeah. Game changers. They're
Game
game
changer.
changers. Yeah.
And have you ever seen the baskets that are made for the stairway?
Yes, I did. I
They're
forgot
really cool.
about them, and then
They're
I saw
really
them
cool.
again. Yep.
I love them. I really
Yeah.
love them. And not necessarily a product, but one thing I'll say is many people underutilize vertical space because they think, well, I'm not going to store something on the wall, but you can put cabinets, you can put floating shelves, you can put hooks. Like the reality is, you probably have a lot of space that you're not using because you don't think you can use it for storage. So you just have to get creative.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does. I mean, there's so many things that you can really use and find. I mean, even now, like IKEA has great, I forget exactly which one it's called, but I'm looking to revamp that play space. So they have
Hmm.
like really great storage where it goes beyond like the cube. It's like actual drawers
Yeah,
that
the
he
calyx.
can,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like John can pull them out and like get his toys out, but they also look nice because I was just like tired of the cube storage and the actual like bins that go in there. Like I was just
Hmm.
tired of them. So like that's what I'm kind of looking for the next step. But it's just there's
Smart.
so many different options out there now
There is. There
that
are.
you can
Yes.
use.
And I have
Mm-hmm.
a suggestion for that actually. When your children are young and they can't read, but they're getting to the point where they can start putting their toys away, you can have a picture on the bin of what goes in there. And you
Oh,
can
yeah,
make
that
the
makes
picture
sense.
still match the aesthetic of your home. It could be a black outline of a dinosaur. And this bin is for all the dinosaurs. And it also becomes interactive for the kid to be involved. The
Yeah, it's like a
sooner they have,
sorting game.
yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
It still matches the aesthetic of your home, houses what is needed. It encourages the child to be involved, but it doesn't cost you extra money or time.
Okay.
Just little things
Yep.
like that. You think, I don't know how to start. Literally, print out a picture from your computer. It's so easy.
Yeah. Now, if you have boys, then they're going to empty all the toys out every single time.
They sure are.
And then they're going to put them away. But it's okay because they'll still have a place.
They'll still have a place. And if you realize that your kids are not the kind that are ever going to sort, stop putting that pressure on you or them. Just make sure that they have bins where everything fits and they can literally just shove it all in.
Yeah. Yep. My goodness. All of this information is so helpful. Like
It's a
all these
lot, right?
ideas that it's a lot, but like in the best way possible because you just don't think about it. And
Right.
I interviewed another guest this morning and she said something that really resonated with me that now kind of applies to this too. But, you give your all to your job, you give your all to your career, and then at the end of the day your partner doesn't get your best self, they just
Yep.
get the rest of
What's
yourself.
left?
But
Right.
then it's like she said that and I was like, "Well, wait a second, if my partner gets the rest of myself, what do I get?" Like, what do I get? I get none of
Mic drop.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my god," and it kind of, when it comes to organizing your home and feeling like you're living in a clean space and not feeling overwhelmed by everything, it then gives you that time back where, like, you can go for the walk, you can take the yoga class, you can do a facial, because otherwise, you're just so, like, in the middle of this house tornado that cleaning the house becomes what you're giving to yourself because, like, you can't
Yes.
live like that anymore.
Exactly.
Wow, all of this has been so good. What would you say for the moms listening to this episode? Like, what is that one thing that you really want her to take away from this?
You're doing a really great job, and life is hard. Working is hard. Keeping your kids alive is hard. Your home should support you and make it easier. And if it's not, there's easy, simple things that you can implement that won't cost you a lot of money and that won't cost you a lot of time. You just have to dedicate the energy to do it. And there's lots of help out there.
Yeah. Well, then speaking of the lots of help out there, of course, that includes you and your team.
Yeah.
So, where can listeners find you and find out more about your services?
I always tell people that are interested in finding out what we do to go to our Instagram page. It's basically a virtual portfolio. It shows you who we are, what we do, how we work. It's at Clean House Tink, and our website is cleanhousetink.com. Everything is there. It's transparent. If you have a question, my cell phone's on there. You can shoot me a message and I will walk you through the entire process.
Amazing. It can't get much simpler than that, really. It really can't. Well, this has been so perfect. All of our listeners, I will include all of those links in the show notes for easy clicking and easy access to Tink and her company. Tink, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank
This has been
you.
so helpful. I'm like inspired, I think, to like go do some cleaning.
And I got to say, I'm inspired by you. You have the voice
Oh,
and the energy to, it's clear you're doing what you're supposed to do. So, yay to
oh,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much. That
having me.
means so
I'm very excited about
much.
it. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on. To all my listeners, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Working Moms Playbook. If you liked this episode, be sure to not only give it a thumbs up, but also share it with another mama who could probably use this in her life because let's face it, we really all struggle with this at one point, if not all the time. And I think it'll help us to scale back a little bit and hopefully feel a little bit more organized. So share it with a mama friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes of the Working Moms Playbook. Every Wednesday, a new episode drops, and I can't wait to see you all there. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode of the Working Moms Playbook. And also, thank you so much for sharing this episode with any and every working mom who might benefit. Also, thank you for subscribing. It means so much to be able to continue to grow this village of working moms in a world where our villages can feel fairly small. Keep an eye out for next week's episode, always debuting on a Wednesday, and I can't wait to see you there.